Hey guys, Garage here, and this UFO looking thing right here is a robotic pool vacuum, kind of like a Roomba or a Bot Vac. But this one, you turn it on, you chuck it in your pool, and for us, an above ground pool, you chuck it in and it just takes off, and for about an hour, it just sucks up debris and dirt and whatever, and it does its thing. It's a really cool device, and it really made keeping a pool super easy this year. So our pool was sparkling clean all summer long. Super happy with it. So when I got it, I was like, oh, I'm gonna do this video really quick, and I'm gonna show people this cool thing. But in my mind, I'm like, maybe this thing's a piece of junk. I don't know. So I let it run for the last 4 months. We use it a couple times a week, usually on the weekends, Saturday and Sunday. We let it run, and I've had only one issue with it. It did require some disassembly and a little bit of a fix, but that's why I'm making this video. For one, to tell you how cool this thing is, because I'm really excited about it. But for two, I wanted to do a teardown video. So I wanted to actually take this thing completely apart, show you the gut, show you the inside, show you how it works, and kind of describe how it works. And that's kind of the purpose of the video. And then maybe later on in the video, we'll toss it in the pool. I'll let you guys see it run around and how it cleans, what it does, and open it up to see some of the crud inside. Unfortunately, my pool is really, really clean this month because we've had like no wind up until today, but like no wind or anything. And so everything is really, really clean. But even with that, it's still going to pick up a lot of stuff. So, um, anyways, let's get into it. Let's tear this thing apart. All right, so let's get into how this thing works. Let's start on the bottom. You have two intake ports with little rubber kind of squeegees on it. So that's where water gets sucked into. All right, you have a power button, you have a charge port, and you got some wheels. Let's get into how it actually functions. This is what the cool part is. They did a really good job engineering-wise on this, but they could have done a few things a little bit better. I'm hoping to see a new rev come out maybe in the next year or two. So anyways, the way this thing works is when you turn it on, you set it in the pool. It takes about anywhere from 7 to 10 seconds before it fires up. When it fires up, you just drop it to the bottom of the pool, and you're going to see water jetting out one side. Now, the jets are what propels this thing, so it actually shoots it across the pool. And so when it's going across the pool, say it's going this way, this paddle gets bent back. Well, this paddle is attached to a little arm that has a magnet on it that actually moves, and it tells it when to change direction. So if it's jetting across the pool this way, like that, and hits a wall and stops, this paddle is spring-loaded. It goes back vertical. The jet will stop here. The jet then opens up here, and it shoots it the other way. And as you can imagine, doing this one-handed, the paddle goes that, shoots across the pool, hits a wall, goes back up vertical, that drops again. It works really well, and it kind of goes in a random pattern, and it runs for about 50 minutes, and for our little 16-foot pool, it gets the whole thing. Now, there are some downsides to how this is run. So what we found, I guess we have a little bit of iron in our water, because what we found is we get some buildup on the magnet, and we actually got enough buildup about halfway through the season where it kind of stopped this arm from moving. The arm would kind of get stuck sometimes, and it would just sit there on one side of the pool. Contacted the manufacturer. They sent me some new little clip springs that actually actuate this thing. I didn't put them in yet because what I did is I took those springs and kind of stretched them out a little bit and made a little more tension on them. But that could be a little bit better design, but it does work. So, and the other reason they did this with the moving arm and the magnet and so forth is it keeps the entire motor assembly in one little can, and we're going to get to that in our teardown. All right, so here we go on teardown. So to take the top off, you have these four clips, and these are one thing I do not like on this unit. These are kind of really hard to snap in place. It makes it for a pain. You can hear how loud they are to pop it open. All right. Do take note that this only goes back together one way. You can barely see the little arrow inside there. And when we lift this off, the motor housing, you've got little pins, and those pins have to line up to those holes. So just take note of that. This is your filter screen. And here's the deal with this filter. It uses the water that it's sucking up from the bottom to actually propel it. So they had to kind of calibrate it to a certain mesh of filter screen. This does not capture the super, super fine particulates in the water. So you may get a little bit of a kind of like a white dust cloud in your pool when this is running. So my suggestion is run this vacuum about a half hour before your main pump comes on to kind of clean the pool, your main filter assembly comes on, because you want to get all that dust and stuff up in the water column, and then let your filter handle the rest. But this will get the larger pieces of dirt, leaves, debris, that kind of thing, and it actually works really well. So we're going to set the filter aside. So here's the bottom. These are the little doors that open to suck things in. Really not a whole lot to see here. There are some settings that I wasn't even aware of until recently. So mine are on A and C for the wheels, but you can apparently set the wheels and change these for different shaped pools. So I've got to see if I've actually even had this on the right setting for a round pool, because I don't remember seeing that in the instructions, but I did see it just on their Amazon page. So anyways, I'm going to make sure we're set right, but no matter what, even if it's set wrong, this thing still has done a great job and it's worked. So let's go into the motor assembly. All right, so again, we have a motor housing, and this whole canned unit with the battery, the power switch, charging port, all that stuff is all sealed. So what we have to do to get to that is we're going to take out the 2 screws that hold on this arm, and this plastic is pretty janky, so you got to be kind of careful. It'll strip out pretty easy. Yeah, you see this screw's backing out, so it's already kind of stripped on this one. Probably gonna have to go get some Loctite, or I'll have to kind of plastic weld with a soldering iron that back together a little bit. So this is your little paddle that changes direction. It can't work without this paddle, so that's pretty important. So we take this off, and now we're gonna take some screws out of this. So let's see, what do we want to do first? We're gonna take these end caps off. And these, you can then see the spring mechanisms inside that we talked about, which is how it actually flips that paddle back and forth, are these little clip springs. All right, so now you can see what I'm talking about. Those are the little clip springs. So let's go ahead and take the battery and motor housing off. As I'm taking this apart, I can tell you guys, like I said, this has been an excellent purchase. It really saved so much time this year for having to clean the pool. It's helped clean keep the pool like sparkling clean. So here we go. There's our motor housing. I call this the bug beaters or egg beaters. There's 2 motors in this thing. This is that little magnetic arm assembly that I was talking about. So you can see some rust staining on there because I got some buildup again. So when that paddle goes one way, it moves the arm. And when it goes to center, that's at rest. So it's got another, probably a Hall effect. It can almost guarantee it's a Hall effect sensor. So when it goes the other way, that Hall effect picks up and it tells it which motor to spin, and it changes direction. So that's how it goes back and forth, is when that paddle moves, that's tripping the sensor in different ways. So we can take this screw out, and that's what I'm talking about, is up in there. You can see the little sparkly glittery things. That is the buildup on the tip of the magnet. So it's picking up more iron from our pool. Now, initially we had enough iron in here that actually was stopping this arm from moving. So let's dig into this a little bit further. Let's completely take it apart and see what kind of trouble we can get into. I haven't torn it down this far, so we're doing this together. I'm curious myself. I never mind doing this kind of stuff because, bottom line, if somebody assembled it, then guaranteed somebody can take it apart and fix it. That's just the nature of the beast when it comes to consumer electronics and such. guessing you're probably going to also have to take our little arm assembly off. Got a screw hidden under here. I'm more curious if any water has gotten in it after all this time. So let's see, where are we at? We got a big screw here. A little concerned about this one. It looks like it holds something internally in place, but looks like we got a rubber seal under this one, so we got to be careful in torque putting that back in. Okay. Oop, there we go. All right. Well, good news is it's dry inside. Got two big canned motors. Looks like we have the controller circuit board up in there. That's kind of cool. Again, we got no corrosion or anything that I can see up inside any of the contacts. So that means the seal is actually working well. It's potted where the cable goes in, and we've got a nice big battery pack. It is a lithium battery pack. It's a 2600 milliamp hour. Let me see if I can get this up here. 2600 milliamp hour battery pack. 18650 cells. So pretty good little battery pack in it. And that's really all there is to it. So we got a nice big thick rubber O-ring that's been greased. I like to see that. That's really good. And let's see here. I'm curious about where that sensor is for that arm. And there it is right there. That right there sticking up on the three little wires, orange wires, that is a Hall effect sensor. And that's what's going to pick up the magnet. Going back and forth. There's probably, yeah, there's just one. So really, what I assume they're doing is it always starts out with one vent going in one direction, and then when the other one's triggered, it knows to switch. So it's either kind of on or off. It's either on that Hall effect or it's off that Hall effect. So that's kind of a neat little design. I don't see any other Hall effects, so. Yeah, very well done. All right. So let's get this guy back together, and I'm going to make sure it seals nice and tight. I'm going to go put it in the pool. We'll give it a run, but I just wanted you guys to be able to see what's on the inside of this. So. Alright, so our little pool today is actually pretty darn clean. We haven't had any wind or any leaves or anything be blowing in there, but we do have some dust piled up into certain places. So we're gonna go ahead and press the power button. I gotta do this one-handed. And then we're just gonna set it in. Like I said, it takes like about 7 to 10 seconds, and then one of the jets is gonna kick on. Oh, there it goes. We let it shoot across the pool. I've never had it flip over on its back. You can see kind of the cloud of dust. Maybe you can in the camera. But it just takes off across the pool. It's going to stop. The jets are going to reverse. And it's going to shoot wherever it wants to go. It's like I said, it's just completely random. And it'll run for about 50 minutes or so. Whew. The reflection is blinding. And that's really all there is to it. Now, as clean as this pool looks right now, we'll be back here when it finishes up in about an hour, and I'll show you what it gets out of it filter wise, because it's pretty surprising. Even when it looks clean, it still pulls all kinds of stuff that you just really can't see with your naked eye. So, but again, make sure that you run the filter, start at about a half hour, or even right when it ends, right when it stops to start cleaning the water. I usually start the filter about a half hour before it finishes, because you can kind of see the clean trail there. You can see it right up through there. You can see the exact track where it was actually vacuuming stuff. So anyways, yeah, start your filter about a half hour after, because it gets a whole bunch of dust and yuck up in the water channel, and then let your filter, your main filter, take the rest out. So again, total game changer for having an above ground pool. It just made life so easy this year. Hardly had any maintenance. It was just great. Just throw this thing in, let it do its thing. Alright, so the vacuum is all done, and they give us this pull hook to put on the end of a pool pole, so you can reach down in, grab it, pull it up, and let's see what we get. Even though the pool looked pretty clean, it always surprises me how much junk this thing gets off the bottom. A little bit of dust, dirt. Let's see what's inside. Yeah, not much in the filter screen, but that's definitely just nasty stuff. So that's how it works, guys. One thing, power switch, you're gonna hear it beeping when the battery's dead. Make sure you turn it off. And that's it for the video, guys. So I really appreciate you watching. Please like and subscribe. It really helps our channel out. And if you want to buy this unit, check out the link in the video description. It takes you right to Amazon. Purchase from the link. Again, that helps us out if this content helped you. You guys have a great one. I'll catch you later.